My name is Marketa Grayson, also known as Gutter. That's the picture of me up there. That's what I used to look like. This is what I look like now. That's my mirror, y'all. That's my mom. She kept me in her prayers for 17 years. I was in a homosexual lifestyle for 17 years of my life. God delivered me and set me free. But we're not going to start there. I'm going to take y'all back to when I was 10 years old. At 10 years old, I had my first sexual experience with a woman at the young age of 10. I knew in the kindergarten that I was attracted to women. I knew very, 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 very young. But growing up in a Christian household, it was hard for me to come out. Okay, so I've been in and out of jail my whole entire life. My first time ever going to jail, I was 12 years old. I got arrested for fighting the police in school and beating up the principal. Very troubled kid. I went to jail. I spent 3 days in Bridge House, came home. 2 years later, maybe 2 or 3 years later, I think, like 3 years later, I was 15. I got arrested for a gun charge, a robbery, and a kidnapping. I spent a lot of time in jail for that, came home. I constantly went back and from the ages of 12 to 22, I constantly went back and forth to jail serving bids for guns, drugs. I started selling drugs at 13 years old. I sold crack, I sold dope, I sold weed, anything I could get my hands on, I sold. It wasn't until 2 weeks after my 18th birthday, I got sent to WCI for getting caught with a gun and like a quarter pound of weed. I went and I served a 2-year sentence for that. I served that 2-year sentence, came home, went right back to the streets. Well, before that, let me take you back. Before that, I went to jail for dope. I did 6 months for that. I came home for 45 days and went back for the gun for 2 years. So I was constantly in and out of prison, constantly in the streets. I did nothing but hang with the boys. Was harder than all the boys. Did anything I wanted to do. I carried guns every single day, sold dope every single day. I scammed, you name it, I did it. I robbed old ladies for their pocketbooks. Whatever I had to do, I did in the streets. And I was doing it at a very young age. So I got back into the streets. I graduated to start selling weight. So I started getting money. By the age of 22, 23, I seen over $1 million. I was really, really getting money. Really, really telling grown men what to do. That was my life. They called me Gutter, that's what I did. So at the age of 17, I was diagnosed with bipolar schizophrenic. I am a stable bipolar schizophrenic, but for many years of my life, I wasn't. So that I will always snap out, I hear things, I see things, just really off the hook and crazy. Never wanted to take my medication, just was out here wilding. I've been in and out of the Rockford Center, Metalwood my whole entire life. I struggled with depression. It's been many times I tried to kill myself because I didn't want to live anymore. I've been through that. So it wasn't until I turned about 28 years old and all of my friends were getting killed. All of my friends were getting sent to the feds for major time. I was out on bail for a major drug trafficking charge. I had a lot of things going on with that, and at the time I wasn't mentally stable. So my lawyer told me to just chill, so I chilled for a while. So while I was chilling, I wasn't making money. I was living off of my savings. I only had like $250,000 left to my name. So I had to live off of that. So after a while, when I spent all the money and broke up with my girlfriend because she stabbed me 3 times with a butcher knife, they thought I wasn't going to make it. I had blood in my lungs. They thought I was never going to walk again, but I did. By God's grace, I walked again. So I did that. So people ask me every day, like, Marketa, what was your ending point for you to just want to just give your life to God and just turn your whole life around? I lost all my friends, y'all. All my friends are either in prison for a very long time or they died. I got tired of burying my friends. I got tired of all my friends leaving me from going to jail. And I remember the last case that I caught, I was out on bail for 2 years. I had a GPS tracker on my leg. I paid the bail bondsman to let me run around and do whatever I want. I gave him $2,500 and he just let me do whatever I want. I would keep it on, turn it off, and just do whatever I want. But that's neither here or there. Yeah, I was a boss for real. Yeah, I was a boss for real. Yeah, so that was that. I ended up beating this case. I was supposed to get 7 years upstate in Muncie, PA, because I got caught in PA. I got caught coming back from the poppies. I got caught with 500 Bs. And I still remember that day because I cussed the plug out. I was really supposed to come and get 4,000 Bs, but he only gave me 5. I cussed him out. He only gave me 500. Bundles. It's bundles of dope. Bundles of dope. He only gave me 500. I cussed him out, but that was God. Because on my way back, I got caught with the 500 Bs. Was out on bail, and I stayed out on bail for 2 years. And I spent like 30 grand on a lawyer for that case. I just said, how much to make it go away? He told me 25. I gave him 30. So we go to court. We go to something called a suppression hearing. We get a suppression hearing. We in there all day. Come to find out, they got this thing called metadata where they can go inside of the police computer and find out when they did what, when they filled out what type of paperwork, when they went there and found out when the judge sent the warrant online. They searched the car 45 minutes before the warrant was signed. I walked out of the courtroom. I'm telling you, I got caught with 500 Bs. Everybody called me a rat. Everybody called me a snitch because they couldn't believe I beat the case. It was by God's grace that I beat that case. It was at that time that I asked God, I said, I gotta be here for a reason. I'm here for a reason. All my friends are dead. All my friends are going to jail. And they got major time. My friends got major time. I don't know when I'm gonna see my friends again. So I went broke. I lost the love of my life. And I also was a local rapper too. I was coming all over the radio station. I couldn't go to a club without them calling out my name, singing my songs. People calling me like I'm just at this party, I'm hearing your song. So I was very well known here, Philly, and Jersey. And by me not hustling no more, because I was funding my rap career with drug money. By me not hustling no more, I couldn't fund my rap career anymore. So just imagine being broke, losing the love of your life, and then feeling unsuccessful. I became very, 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 very depressed. I cried myself to sleep every night for 2 years. Now, one thing I always tell about people, when you don't have no money, you think life is just crazy, is regular. But once you touch real money and lose it, you'll want to die when you lose that money. I'm telling you. You wonder why them white people want to jump off of bridges and stuff when they lose their money? You think they crazy? No, it hurts. It really bothers you in a crazy way. So it bothered me in a crazy way. So what I started doing, I started sipping promethazine every day. I was spending like $1,200 a week on that. I started sipping that every day, losing weight, getting real small. I started clubbing from Monday to Sunday. Literally, I'm not exaggerating. I would go to Philly. And Philly, they party every night. And it's a party every night in Philly. It ain't like down here, they party every night. And their bars stay open to 7 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going in strip clubs. I'm having sex with all the strippers. Every night I'm taking 2-3 strippers home. I'm having sex with them because I was really depressed and I was really, really sad. So what I was doing is trying to fill the void. I was using all these things to try to fill the void. So I'm having sex with all these girls. I had sex with over 100 women. It's so many women I done had sex with. I walk past them in the street, don't even remember them. So I was doing that. So after I doing that, the pain wouldn't go away. So I started drinking and mixing the drinks with the promethazine. Everybody know you're not supposed to do that. If you sip lean, you're not supposed to drink with it. I would drink with it. So I kept just being in pain. I was so depressed. So after a while, I stopped getting in the shower. I stopped cutting my hair. I stopped brushing my teeth. I just was the worst. Like people looked at me, didn't even recognize me. They used to be saying me being well put together. So I was just real depressed, and I would call my mom, the woman that just prayed, that's my mom. I would call her and like, yo, mom, I'm really going through it, and she could see it to me. So she just told me, like, just start talking to God. So this was about 6 years ago. So I started talking to God, and once I started talking to God, He led me to go fix my mental health because, again, I'm a bipolar schizophrenic, and I go through deep depressions. So I went in and out of Rockford probably like 3 times. I couldn't get myself together, kept going on suicide watch. I couldn't get myself together. So they put me on medication. I began to take the medication. The medication made me more depressed. About time I ended up being on about 6 different medications. So I took the medications, I started going to therapy. And this is one thing I tell people too. Therapy in Christ works miracle. All of us have been through trauma in our life. Each and every person in this room, you have been through trauma. People think that trauma is just certain things. No. We walk outside our house, our friends are getting killed, people are dads and moms and stuff on drugs, people going in and out of prison. That's trauma. That's not regular. We're not supposed to see that. We're not supposed to see that at all. Every person in this room has been through trauma. But I'm going to tell you how you heal your trauma. They tell you time heals all wounds. It doesn't, baby. What you do with your time will determine whether you heal from your wound or not. It's what you do with your time. If you suppress it, it's not going to work. It's going to show up in different areas in your life. What you do with your time will determine whether you heal from the wound or not. And that's what I did. What I did with my time was I went to therapy once a week and I took my medication. So in the beginning, they won't tell you this when you have a mental health problem. They won't tell you that it takes you 5 years to become stable from the beginning. It took me 5 years of taking medication and going therapy to be labeled stable to go back into society. So just April of this year, they declared me stable because I stayed on my medication, I stayed up with my therapy. So as I began to do that, I just kept praying to God. And I never would talk to God about being a homosexual. Like I never would. And that never would be in our conversations. I just wanted to feel better. I was in pain, I was hurting. Can you imagine crying yourself to sleep every night for 2 years? And I'm not exaggerating. I was literally crying myself to sleep. So after a while, I just kept going to church. I just kept praying. And I ended up moving to Atlanta early this year. I moved there and I went there. I had 2 nice jobs. Went down there, bought a car. I was doing all this stuff. So I worked at this strip club called King of Diamonds down there. When I got in King of Diamonds, I didn't like the way I felt. I thought the women were nasty. Anybody that know me when I was in the street, strip club was my thing. If you couldn't find me, you come to Onyx, I'm in there. Each and every time you come to Onyx, I'm in there. I just couldn't stand to look at these women anymore. So I'm like, what's going on with me? So we get to the studio. They sipping lean. So I'm like, I didn't want none. So I'm like, what's going on with me? They drinking liquor. I didn't want none. I'm like, what's going on with me? So I began to talk to my mom about it. She like, God delivered you and you don't even know. Like, I couldn't stand the thought of none of this stuff. She like, God delivered you, you didn't even know. So when I'm down there, and people think I'm crazy when I say this, they was offering me a lot of stuff because I'm a very talented artist. Them artists that y'all listen to, they play in witchcraft. Whether y'all want to believe it or not, that's what they do. That's how they get their success. They play in witchcraft. They offered me to do some sacrifices and all that. They told me I was going to be bigger than Michael Jackson and Beyonce put together if I would do this ritual. They had 2 Netflix shows on the line for me and everything. And people keep asking me why I come home from Atlanta. I don't tell this story too much, but God is leading me to tell y'all. I didn't want to do the ritual, y'all. I didn't care about the money or the fame. I did not want to do the ritual. I came home. I gave God a sincere yes. I began to pray, and one of my friends told me, tap into your heavenly language. Now, if you have a relationship with God and you do not speak in tongues, you need to start. And don't have to wait till the Spirit comes upon you. Just start speaking in tongues. Once you start speaking in tongues, it will activate so many spiritual gifts. It will activate Jesus Christ in your life on a whole nother level. When I started speaking in tongues, one morning I woke up and I just called my friend DeAndre and I said, I'm tired of looking like a boy. I'm tired of wearing boy clothes. And she like, what? Are you serious? I'm like, yes, I'm tired of looking like a boy. It was after I started praying in tongues that I felt like this. See, you could never tell me that I wouldn't look like that for the rest of my life. I wanted to marry a woman and everything. You could never tell me that I would ever be standing here with makeup on my face and lashes on my eyes. You could never tell me that. But what I'm trying to tell you is, God will change your desires and replace them with His desires. He will. He will replace them with His desires. He changed the desires of my heart. People want to know, how did you transform? I ain't do this, baby. God did this. I didn't do this. This is his plan. I asked God who I was and what he created me to be. And he began to show me. He began to move in my life like no other. So now I record gospel music. I'm coming on 2 gospel radio stations in 2 months. You'll hear me on every gospel radio station in the tri-state. So that's what I'm doing now. God replaced my desires with his desires. So it's no longer me sleeping with women. It's no longer me clubbing. It's no longer me drinking. It's no longer, I still struggle with some things. I still cuss like a sailor. But guess what? When I go home, I pray and say, God, you got to take this from me because I can't stop. I still smoke cigarettes. I smoke about 50 cigarettes before I came up here. I sold them. But I know every time I do, when I go home, I pray to God. I say, Lord, can you take this from me? We cannot transform ourselves. The power of the Lord transforms us. Anything that you need help with, anything that you're trying to get rid of in your life, if you want a new life, ask God, baby. He's going to give it to you. I promise you, he will give it to you. Okay? And I think that's basically something that wraps it up about my life and what I got to say to y'all. Okay? But again, my name is Marketa Grayson. Please do not call me gutter. Please do not call me bro, because people got a bad habit of keep calling me that. But I'm going to tell you guys today, anything that you need, anything that you want, call on Jesus Christ. He got you.